it's gonna be hard to transition from this, but I'm actually gonna bring up something that is like culture wide, and I want to get your opinion on it. Okay.
Bet.
Um, quick story. And this happened recently. This happened maybe like, I think now it happened like a month ago now. Um, and it always happens, but I think it's so weird, especially within the culture, about networking and how like it's hard. I feel like it's really hard in today's society to not only build a community, but to pretty much reach out to other people's communities and network in 2024. Because I've recently had it to where I've joined a lot of Discord groups. I've been joining a lot of communities. To promote, but also to grow. And it really sucks when you think that you're making friends, but they only look at you as like potential clients.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and it really hurts because I thought I was making connections and growing a friendship with some people, and it just ended up with them going like, well, for $29.99 a month we can do this for you, and I'm like, okay, great. So what's your take on that?
So coming from a couple sides on it, I do think it's garbage that a lot of people, like, they'll meet people first time trying to network with different things, whether it be streamers trying to network, or different podcasters or different groups of people that are trying to get together, have some crossover in what they're doing. um I think it's garbage to have the first thing on your mind be a check. um because I think the opportunities and what can be built at the end of the day, uh it has to be better than
Mm-hmm.
just a check. And I feel that personally, just kind of in general, that, like, yes, you do have to be focused on making money to a degree,
Mm-hmm.
um but not to the point that it overshadows your ability to create for creation's sake,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You have to be focused on it enough to be sustainable, but not so much that you become Fortnite, um, to where now their whole focus is that next dollar.
Right. Money, money, money. Dollars, whatever it takes.
Now, that
And
other end of it, though, I will say, I'm not mad at anyone who's trying to get a bag.
for sure. And I always say it's like, I've been in the creation space myself since my early 20s. So for good or for worse, I've been within this creation game, you know, for about over 10 years. I could say a
Yep.
decade at this point. And it's tough. It's not easy. Like a lot of people, I've met people who have dismissed me when they ask, like, what do you do? Of course, this is not my 9 to 5. I would love for this to be my 9 to 5, but
Yep.
they've looked at me and been like, oh, so you just make videos, and in return, I go, you watched that Marvel movie? Yeah. So was that just some video? And they're like, no, it's a movie that they did this. I'm like, right. So the same time and effort they put into making that Marvel movie is kind of the same effort that I put into making these to my content. And
It's just a different type of it.
right. And it really sucks because it's like, back then when I was younger, I felt like, everything was so fresh and so new. There was no pure formula to this content creation thing. I mean, honestly, the formula even today is up to your liking, how you do it. But I was able to go on like MySpace or go on Facebook, go into a group, and that group would genuinely be like, "Hey man, let's go play some Call of Duty. Hey, let's get together. Let's go play something." And you start to vibe out and you go, "Yo, this person right here, I'm vibing with them. I like how they play the game. They actually pretty good. I'm having fun. Then
Yeah.
that fun upgrades. Okay, hey man, I have a show or I collect highlights. You know, hey man, let's go do this together. Cool. I feel like that progression of and I feel like that builds trust. That builds, you know, your likability. I trust you now. I understand you. You know, I'm older now, so it could be too. It could be just me being a little older. Um, a lot of people, man, they're so quick to judge you, so they just go like, "Hey, man, here's my price.
Yeah.
Time is money," and I'm like, I understand that. Time is money. I understand that, but it's like I feel like when it comes to content creation, especially on the gaming side, we still have to play the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, like me and you, Data, like we grew up together, so it is a little different. You know, so like you've been there and you've witnessed my grind up to this point,
Oh yeah.
you know, and vice versa. But I can definitely say, like, with us, it wasn't like I just come to you, hey man, here's a bag. Like we're no, we play the games. We play with each other. That could be taken the wrong way, but we you know we play games with each other, and we've learned like, hey man, we play Minecraft together. We like this game. We have good conversations. Let's make building with data and chaos. Let's
Yep.
stream that, man. Let's see how far we can get with that, you know. And I always felt like that journey is awesome. But then like I tried to join these discords. I try to join other people's communities, and a lot of them are just like, yeah, bro, if you ain't paying $15, $20 for these followers, if you ain't paying the money for these subs, we can't help you. And it's like, man, I just want to play Among Us with you, bro. Like I'm just trying to see if you want to re up for the game. It really hurt because I was like, man, like I thought I was building up this community, and I knew I should have known something was up when the second they were like, oh yeah, well you know, I was looking at this and do, and they're like analyzing me all of a sudden, and I was like, oh here we go, and I left them on red. I was like, I'm not even gonna to worry about this anymore, and I kind of left them on red and just pushed on to the next one. I was very honored, Data, when you asked me to help build this concept, and I feel like that type of I think that's why we're doing so well, and that's why this works. You know, it's not we're not just two randos who met on a Discord, and
Yeah.
you know we have a relationship. We understand each other. I can say we know each other's ticks and we know each other's likes and dislikes on things. You know,
Yep.
and being able to bring those two mindsets together to make this type of content is crucial to me. And I don't know about you, but I feel like too a lot of content creators that I see out there, I feel like they're struggling with that now. I feel like a lot of them try to do these collabs and they try to do these little group ups, and you can tell if they don't really mess with each other, if it's just a bag, a real quick bag I gave you, pull up, versus we play games together, we make music together. Like I can tell now.
You can definitely tell. I would definitely give the example of people like, and no hate to him, but people like Kai Cenat, right?
Mhm.
Where you can tell the majority of the guests he's bringing on there, it's not people that he would really kind of vibe and get along with in real life. There's definitely a check involved. But then
I'll
you have other groups and other people. One that I would throw out there is people like ABBA and Preach, where you can definitely feel they still have conversations. They still hang out with each other. Like there's a genuine relationship out there that doesn't involve their paycheck.
right. It's cool you said both of those creators because I watch both of them. Um, I will say for Kai, I recently just really started watching a lot of like their shorts and stuff. because
Yeah.
of DreamCon. You know, I like we go to DreamCon, so I was heavy into RDC World, heavy into Berleezy and some bros. They were like the third pillar there. And I was like, oh, I've seen their stuff before. So I really started looking at like the core group of AMP and was like, okay, these guys, I get it. I get it. I get y'all are cool. They are the bros. But like you said, like when it comes to Kai, his formula is literally just, hey, if I can get John Cena to come here, I'm bringing John Cena. His form of networking, like him having the sleepovers and bringing over these celebrities, and he's gotten so big that like it's now beneficial for both parties.
Yeah.
And with ABBA and Preach, who I also watch, I can see with them too how like these two guys, you know, they met within, I would say, like the comedy space. I would
Yeah.
say, so they
I
weren't
think they've talked
really,
about that before. Yeah.
yeah, like they weren't really like friends. They first started this because they saw the opportunity.
Yeah.
So and then they grew a relationship from it, and that's fine. And I feel like if you're able to find a coworker or someone that you can work with and you build a relationship through the work, that's awesome. But I guarantee like they weren't looking at each other going like, you have to give me $5,000, I ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
They were willing to put in a little bit of work, a little bit of sweat with each other.
yeah. And you know, and I do feel like it too. Again, I may be sounding old. I might be sounding old, but a lot of these young content creators, man, you know, they look at the Kais, they look at these guys, and they go like, oh, well, I want to get there now. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't work that way for everyone. I'm a prime example, and I just like, I mean, I regret nothing. If I had to be honest, like, of course, if I sit back and I really like thread my life in content creation, I think I could find a couple of things where I'm like, I shouldn't have did that. But I've had mini viral videos. I've had stinkers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've
Yeah.
I've had good projects that have sustained me and got me affiliated in places that got me sponsorships and got me a bag. And I've had content that people looked at me and said, "You need to go back to the drawing board and think about what you just sent us." So, and I wouldn't have gotten to these points. I feel like if I just never opened up and trusted other people. And
Yeah.
you know, and I do believe that there is some times where you have to put your head down and work with yourself. And but you should also know that there is no I in team. So if I'm reaching out to you, I'm truly reaching out to you because like I want to not only play games or content whichever way. I want to build a relationship. I want to build something. And with everybody wanting to be a Twitch streamer or a Kick streamer, with everybody wanting to be a content creator, it is tough. Like
Yeah.
tough.
Because, like you said, there's too many people that they want to be the big streamer, the big content creator right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like people don't get there overnight. There was a period of time nobody watched people like Kai or Queso or Tim the Tap Man or Ninja, etc.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time that they were a nobody. They were streaming to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was a lot of years ago. You know, they've since built their following.
Right.
But there was a time they had to build it from nothing too. Like they didn't just come out one day and be like, "Oh, by the way, million of followers." Like it doesn't happen that way.
No.
And you have to be willing to work with people, kind of connect with people and understand that both of us may never get anything from this. but it's worth a shot.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I feel like I would feel more accomplished and feel better knowing that it's with someone that I've built a relationship with. I just didn't throw you a
Yeah.
bag, like, and
Yep.
I've had that. I've had editors. I've been hired. I have been hired before to make like thumbnails, to help people edit videos, and I was just a service. I was an employee. I get it. I'm hiring you to do this job. I do voice acting, very small, but I do auditions. I've been hired to do small roles for people. We're not building a relationship, but I've learned that through my work ethic and through how I work, that gets me into the door to talk to them more and then build that relationship. And who knows what can happen, because you don't know. Someone you do a small project for today can be the next Marvel director tomorrow.
This is true.
You never know. And the next thing you know, you're getting a call. Hey man, you were there when I was making, cheesy videos on Premiere for YouTube and little voiceover work, and you did it for no money. You helped me out, man. I got my big break. I have an opportunity for you. You hear it a lot. Like, I know Hollywood's crazy, but you hear the stories where an actor gets a chance to direct for the first time. They go back to their acting school, or they have like their acting friends, and they go, hey man, I got my first director's role. Let's go. I'm hiring all y'all first because y'all my homies. And that's something that that's something that I've always wanted to do with all of these projects that I either create or I help. I love not only helping, but I love seeing my friends and family grow in this industry, because this content creation is not easy. It's not.
No, not by any means.
Like, I'm telling you, like, I've had my ups, I've had my downs. I've been depressed off of this, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I've also been blessed to, make money doing this. And knowing the little knowledge that I have about this, I want to replant this and grow it for other people. I'm not charging you a paywall to learn this knowledge. We have a Patreon. FSP has a Patreon. We really try not to push it on here, but I will say, like, when people started joining my Patreon and I started seeing monetary trust in my content, in my craft, I think that is when I was like, oh, I can do this. I gotta stay focused. I gotta figure this out. I can do this. I remember I told my parents that, my family, I told them, I said, hey, if I would have never gotten a dime making this in my 20s, I think I would not be doing this now. I'll be real. but
That's fair,
but
honestly.
someone paid me to do this content stuff. And I said, if I can get paid once, I can get paid again. And
That's true.
that's kind of the mindset I've had doing this stuff.
The first Twitch check hit different than the second one.
Bro, let me tell you.
Like,
Can I keep it real with you? Can I keep it real with the podcast? Can I keep it real with the people? When that first Twitch anything, it was the first Twitch check that came in that blew my mind, because then I was like, I literally just got paid to play video games. Like, the inner kid in me, his mouth just dropped when I saw that money hit my account. And then when I got sponsored, it may have been like HelloFresh or something like that, but I was like, the second I had to start making like ad reels, I was like, yo, I may not be like PewDiePie and all them, but I'm like, dang it, mama, I'm on my way. That's what I felt. I was geeked up, Data. Like, and it's crazy because you've been there for a lot of it.
oh yeah.
to just kind of bring this whole topic into a nice bubble, a nice little package. Um, it's like Data said earlier. It's not bad shooting your shot for your bag, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to get paid. And I personally believe that if you have a hobby and you love doing it, and you can get paid for it, get paid for it. Like,
There's a wise man a lot of years ago that told me, he was like, it was different when I was a kid. He's like, but now with the internet, if you enjoy doing something, someone enjoys watching you do that something.
yes,
And I was like, you not lying right now.
not lying. Same thing, man. They said you're once you it's like once you figure out your niche, you're gonna have haters, but you're gonna have supporters.
Yep.
It may take them a while to find you, but they're going to find you. They're going to. And I am a living witness on that. They will find you. Just random, but this is why, like, if you're watching the video versions of this podcast, I have the wallpapers. These wallpapers are not all just like AI art. Some of these are actual artists that I follow on Twitter, that I found on, Twitch and stuff like that. And you know, if I can get their on their artwork, I want it on there because I want people to see that stuff. I want people to learn. That's why, like, I feel like how Data explained Culture Clash before. It's like, this is why we want to bring in different artists from other countries. And I love that, because not only is it growing the community, but we're showing different perspectives of different people's craft and their art. And I love doing this. I already love making content, but I love it when you can show me new content from people that I've never heard of before.
I got plenty more where that came from.
Oh, we all ears, bro. We are all ears. Cause I'm telling you, like, as long as we both are willing to do this, and as long as the community is willing to grow with us, we all gonna learn something. I'm not sorry for bringing this up. I know we had like this high point, and it kind of went, there's a little roller coaster in this episode, but
You gotta have your lows to appreciate the highs.
yeah. And I feel like the older I get, and it could be just, the whole, like, wisdom comes with age thing, I want to be able to share my knowledge that I've learned, the good and the bad. Everything that I do, everything that I put my hands on or I put my mind to, I want to be able to give back some form of knowledge to people that are willing to listen. I mean, lately I've been, like, really, like, adamant about, like, hey, man, let's watch some trailers. I want to get your opinion on these things. Hey, watch out for this when you do this. And just seeing the younger generation, because content's going to evolve, it's going to get bigger, it's going to get better every year. And you're just blessed. You're blessed to know that I can keep up with the times and also still stay relevant. I learned pretty early, but it was rough. If you keep trying to chase the fad, you're never going to catch it. But if you're bold enough to create something on your own, you're then going to realize that you've now made something that other people are chasing. And that's when you're in the right lane, if that makes sense. Create your own lane, pretty much, and let them follow you. And then hopefully you'll get to a pinnacle where instead of you having them follow you, you can now establish and help them, if that's what you choose to do.
I honestly think, when it comes to riding trends, the best I've ever heard someone say it, and I know it was in a diss track, but it's one of the best diss tracks. It was in J. Cole, 1985, when he said, you only hot because you was riding trends, but soon those kids gonna get too old for what made you blow up. then your money gets small because they don't show up.
Hmm.
Like, and that's how it is. That if all you're doing is riding trends, it does slow up eventually because you can't keep up with trends forever.
You can't.
Nobody can.
You can't.
You gotta figure out what you know, what you can do,
Mhm.
what's your skill, and then just grind on it.
Grind it. Grind it, man.
Because that's why the people who have stayed around in different industries, different cultures, that's why they're still there.
Hmm.
There's a reason that from 1995 to today, Eminem can still put out an album and it's relevant.
Yeah.
He's not trying to ride the trend. He's
He's
just gonna do what he always did.
right, and he has pretty much established himself. He's been put down. He's been put down his work, and like this is my stake in the culture.
And when people do that, when they figure out this is where I am, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm gonna do, it doesn't matter how much the art form changes around them,
Hmm.
they're still gonna be relevant and they're still gonna be respected within the art form
Hmm.
because of their contribution to it, because of the skill that they brought to it.
Right.
And there's a lot of examples in a lot of art forms, but that's one that came to mind kind
And
of off the top.
it's a good one though. I would say most people today know who Eminem is.
It's hard not to.
It's hard
I'm be
not to.
honest.
I mean, in all across all genres, I feel like you've
Yeah,
heard of Eminem at least once. We could go on a whole podcast just of him and our opinions because we have similar opinions, but I've also heard opinions from people on Eminem that were like, okay, I've it's the same debate. I'll save that one for we'll be here for another hour if we crack that one open.
oh yeah, we
Um,
can open that spicy pepper if y'all want another day.
oh yes, it is hard. It is very hard in 2024 to connect, to network with people. Especially if the people that you're trying to connect with don't have an open mind. So with that, when you find genuine people that want to create the content that you're creating, keep them close. Now, of course, if they're not a good fit, it happens. But I feel like if you can find someone that you both have a very close to drive and y'all can get something going, don't take it for granted. Hold them close, grow a community, grow a relationship, and you'll be surprised where you'll be at on the other side.